Okay, it's recording. Um, my screen has frozen several times during our circle, so I'm going to try to go slowly in case I freeze. So let me know if you've missed some big chunk and you need me to go back. Um, Today we're going to solve problems using area and perimeter. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but when we do lessons one week, the next week you have a lot of work that goes with it. So make sure you pay attention to this lesson because you'll need it next week. So let's review what area and perimeter are. The area of a figure is the number of squares that cover the surface of a closed figure. Area is measured in square units, such as square centimeters, square feet, square inches. And you can see in the picture, there's a rectangle that's at 7 columns and 4 in every column. So there are 28 square units in that picture. Perimeter refers to the length of the sides or edges of the two-dimensional figure that has angles. So you can see this is a picture of a pentagon, and 4 of the sides are 5 meters long and 1 of the side is 10 meters. So we'd have to add those together. 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 10 is 30. So the perimeter of that pentagon is 30 meters. It's measured in linear units like inches, feet, yards, centimeters, and meters. So one of the big differences, area is measured in squares and meters are measured just in the length. So here's a perimeter problem for you. What is the perimeter of this rectangle? Go ahead and figure it out.
You're glitching. I'm having a hard time hearing you.
So I just asked you to figure out the perimeter of this rectangle.
And the question is on the slide too, so that can help you.
Okay, so when I was looking at this rectangle, my first thought was, I know that I need to find the number of all the way around the sides, but they've only given us 2 measurements. But I know something about rectangles. I know that a rectangle is made up of 2 sets of equal length sides. So if the top is 25, the bottom is 25. And if the right side is 15, the left side is 15. So to add those up, 25 plus 25 plus 15 plus 15 is 80. So the perimeter is 80 centimeters. Do you agree? Okay, that was the first one, and it was the easiest one. Here we go. Perimeter problem number 2. The perimeter is 94 inches. Dimension A is 32 inches. What is dimension B? So you know the perimeter all the way around is 94. You know one side. You have to figure out one of the other sides. Go ahead. Okay, so this is what I did. I thought to myself, well, if one side is 32 inches, then the side across from it is also 32 inches. 32 plus 32 is 64. So if 2 sides are 64, if I take 94 and subtract the 64, I'll have 30 left. And the other two sides add up to 30 altogether. So I have to divide that 30 into two equal parts. The top and the bottom are both 15. Dimension B is 15 inches. I see Mason agrees with me. Some other agrees. Good. Nice job. So the next problem is an area problem. If the perimeter of the rectangle is 24 centimeters and one dimension is 10 centimeters, what's the area? So all the way around is 24. One side is 10, but they're not asking what the perimeter is. This time they're asking what the area is. Go ahead and see if you can figure out this one. Hi, Mrs. Farwell. Okay, so this is how I solved it. I thought to myself, if one side is 10 centimeters, then this opposite side across from it must also be 10 centimeters. So those two sides together equal 20 centimeters, which is most of the rectangle. In fact, there are only 4 centimeters left. The other two sides have to add up to 4 altogether, so the other sides are each 2. So I see the rectangle would look like that. Oops, look at that. I have my 10 and my 2 backwards.
I was gonna say, I think you made those backwards.
I do. I'm sorry. I can't fix it. Well, I can, but I don't want to fix it now. To find the area, I need to multiply the length times the width. So I need to see if there were 2 rows and 10 in each row, how many squares would there be? It'd be 20 squares. So the area of this rectangle is 20 square centimeters. Notice that the area is in square centimeters, but the perimeter and the lengths of the sides are just centimeters. So area problem number 2. The rectangle has an area of 243 square feet. That means inside that rectangle, there'd be 243 squares. One dimension is 9. What is the length of the other dimension? That rectangle would look like that. Go ahead and figure out what is the length of the other dimension.
So remember, Cole, that we don't play with toys during class, please. If you could put that away, make sure you're focused.
Yeah.
Sitting up and focused.
That is
please.
that's somebody who's not doing the work.
Yeah.
That's a bummer. Next week when he has to do it by himself, I hope he remembers how.
So
Okay.
make sure you're sitting up and focused.
243 divided by 9 would solve this problem. And I know 9 times 20 is 180, which would be most of that rectangle. In fact, if I subtract it, I only have 63 squares left in that second part of the rectangle. And I know 9 times 7 is 63. So that top dimension of the rectangle would be 20 plus 7. 27. The length of the other dimension is 27 feet. This area problem is a lot like what we did last week. Mason.
So if you like, so isn't, if you like, what's the outside, like the perimeter, if you time the perimeter, if you like, you times the perimeter, is that like the answer of the area? Like,
Well, if you multiply two sides, the length times the width, you'll get the area. But if you do all four sides, you'll not get it. So the perimeter refers to all four sides. Yeah.
I know. So if you do, so if it's 9 feet on, if it's 9 feet, is there 9 feet on the other side too? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we could think.
So is there, so do you have to times 9 times 9?
No, you have to do the length times the width, and they use those two because if you picture the squares in rows and columns, the 9 feet tells you how many rows there'll be, and the 27 is how many are in each row.
Okay. So you do the length plus the width
Times, yep.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. It's perimeter and area together. If the area of the rectangle is 360 square yards and one dimension is 12 yards, then what is the perimeter? This is a lot like the last one. The big difference is it doesn't ask what is that other dimension. It asks for the whole perimeter. So the rectangle would look like this. See if you can figure out what the whole perimeter of this rectangle would be.
I'm sorry to interrupt again, but Cole Gilbert, put that toy away. You are driving me crazy. Thank you.
Okay, so to find the other dimension, I would need to divide 360 by 12. So if I think 12 times something equals 360, I know 12 times 3 is 36. So if I would need to shove that over in place value, I'd need to do 12 times 30 is 360. So that other dimension is 30 yards. But I still haven't found the perimeter. To do the perimeter, I need to add all four sides. So if the left side is 12, the right side is 12. If the top is 30, the bottom is 30. I have to add 12 plus 12 plus 30 plus 30 to get 84 yards. The perimeter is 84 yards. So next week, you are going to get some problems like these to do for your must-dos. And I think the biggest thing you need to remember is to pay attention to the words perimeter and area, because sometimes they give you the area and ask for the perimeter. Sometimes they give you the perimeter and ask for the area. Sometimes they're just asking for one dimension, but they've given you the area, or they're asking for one dimension and they gave you the perimeter. You need to pay attention to those words and remember what they mean. Any questions or comments before we end? Ian?
Sorry, I was muted. What I was thinking is if sometimes they'll give you the area and perimeter. If you know that, but they want you to do the perimeter and then find out the area, and you can flip it around and then find it out by doing that.
Yeah, you just have to pay attention to which they're giving you and which they're asking you about. Yep. And this will be up in the classroom, this lesson. So if you get confused, you can always go back and look at this lesson. Any other questions or comments about area and perimeter problems? Okay, well, I guess we can end then.
Yeah, I
So
don't.
I'll see some of you
Snack.
as a snack, right?
Yep, snack group. And then we have read aloud today.